Hi there, welcome back. Today we are going to handle two very interesting opportunities that are currently there in the market, and actually I am intrigued by one a bit more than the others, but as we go through each one of them I'll kind of show you what the potentials for each of them are, and also should you currently wait just a little bit before going in on each one of them. Let's start with what is the confirmed sort of upside that I am looking at for these Team of the Year exchanges. Now, as you know, Team of the Year is completely driven by exchanges at this point, which means that there are certain exchanges which keep making their way back. Prime example of these being the 95 mixed version players, and we have some leaks as to which other exchanges are coming back, which is the big one which I'll get to sort of later. However, another one that is confirmed by actually EA to be coming back in the weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, and interestingly Monday, they count that as weekend too, I don't know why, is the 80 to 97 mixed version player exchange. So this one, but the 10x version. Now this is probably the game's most profitable exchange by far, because you put in 11 players to get 10 players back, each of them having the potential of being an 80 all the way up to a 97. We know people have packed 97 rated cards from here, and today you will also let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure that you have packed a 97 from this exchange. So since that exchange is making its way back in 2 days, one of the conditions of this exchange, and you'll actually get to see this even in some exchanges like the 87 to 97, is that it requires Team of the Year players, specifically 85 plus overall Team of the Year players. So while these cards currently are trading at around 680,000, it is pretty certain here that these cards are going to go up to that 1.2 to 1.3 million range the minute this exchange makes its way back. Now, plenty of supply is there for these cards, that is true, but you'll also have to remember that every single player in the game makes that exchange whenever it makes its way back, which means the supply immediately vanishes off the market the minute this exchange comes back. So a few of the cards that you are going to want to watch list are Rabiot, Taremi, and Kolo Muani, trading at their lows 652,000. We'll get to the figures in just a little bit, how much of a profit you can make with these cards, because again you'll have to keep in mind that there is a tax 10% for every card that you sell. So we'll get to these later. Inherently though, we are expecting these 86s to rise up all the way to 1.2 to 1.3 million, our number one opportunity. And I would give this almost like a huge certainty, the one thing that the next particular rumor and the leaks wouldn't actually give us. When the 95 rated mixed version player exchange made its way back to our exchanges tab this week, a question that came in all of our minds was that, are the other two exchanges coming back? So one of them being a 96 to 97 rated exchange where we actually had to give 395 overall Team of the Years. The other one being actually a little more lenient in that we could get a 93 to 94 rated player for an exchange that only required 90 all the way up to 92 rated mixed version cards. So these are the two exchanges that we were discussing about, and you know what, the most reliable leaker in this game has actually confirmed that both of these exchanges are making their way back. It is Sappurit yet again. We have a tweet saying Team of the Year exchange 93 to 94 mix is coming back. So the mixed version exchange and 96 to 97 Team of the Year will come again as well. At least 2 rounds for each of them. So not only are these exchanges coming back this week, they're also going to come back for another week, which is huge. Following up with this though, we have a list of all the cards that we are expected to get in these particular exchanges. See here, honestly, this is the best exchange pool that I have seen in a while, I would say, because we have Gullit, Haaland, Ronaldo, all of them in the same exchange pool. Following up with this though, in the coming week, so this is important to note because these are 2 weeks of these exchanges. In the first week, we have these 5 cards in the pool which are getting added. Along with this, in the coming week, and the last 96 to 97 actually, we are getting a list of 97 and 96 where we have Mbappe, we have Bellingham, we have Roberto Carlos, we have Messi added back in, Rodri and Eusebio. So it is very, very safe to say that in the coming 2 weeks we are looking at two different variants of cards which are absolutely going to be crucial when we want to do these exchanges. Now the first variant of these cards is of course the Team of the Year icons and the Team of the Year base cards, which are of 95 rating. Now the card that saw the biggest upside this time when the exchange came was Rodri. It went up to a maximum value of 51 million all the way down from 38. So that is a upside of course, but it came with a risk as well. This time though, we have two more cards that got added to this pool which are trading at lows that are lower than Rodri ever went to. So number one is Bergkamp and number two is Baggio. Now here is something that I will say that I think needs to be known here is that when that exchange came for the first time where you had to put in 95s in order to get 96 to 97s, EA did get a lot of backlash because it is quite difficult to make that exchange. If you are a free-to-play player, it is quite difficult to be able to justify spending what is upwards of 90 million to get a card like Sanchez, who we would not be able to sell even though he's a Team of the Year icon. So keeping that in mind, one thing that EA slightly addressed in this live stream is that they know about the exchange backlash and they are trying to work on it, which means that this exchange might see a change in conditions. And since this is the biggest sort of exchange that we have, and again since it is the biggest, it also has the highest risk involved, I would wait until this exchange actually makes its way to the market. Do not invest based on speculation with this. People are spending quite a lot of money for this. And yes, even if this exchange makes its way back, for someone like Bergkamp, you are looking at almost 100% upside. But again, please keep this in mind that this is very much speculation oriented. If you drop some amount of coins here that you're willing to lose, that's fine. If this is your only sort of exchange potential that you are looking at, do consider the fact that there are other sure shot exchanges which are better, just like that weekend exchange. So for now, I'm keeping this in my watch list though, not actually investing until these cards make their way back. One thing I have to say is that getting these exchanges back has made me, wake up at much earlier times. I have to, because there is literally no other option. At 6:30 every reset I have to make my way back into the market, see which exchange came back, and based on that rush back into market. But now we are going to make our way back into that 93 to 94 exchange though. This is an exchange that required 90 to 92 rated cards of any event, does not matter, and this is the exchange that saw the most upside for every single card. See here, someone like Bergkamp went up from a 999 plus sell order all the way up to 6 million. This is huge for a card which is basically always at their low. But one thing I will say about these cards is that cards like Bergkamp and Nistelrooy are going to be a better target at the moment than the other ones in this pool, which is why you'll still see these cards at a lot of sell orders where someone like Bergkamp is not. Why is that? This is because of another exchange that is coming back. So exchanges. This one is the Gullit exchange. So safe bet for something like the Gullit exchange is that you will need cards that are either from the Netherlands, so the national requirement, or you will need cards from A, which is the team that Gullit played most at. So either a league requirement or a nation one. And irrespective of what your sort of nation requirement is, if it's an 87 plus, if it's an 85 plus, these cards would still suffice. These cards are looking at a potential of being used in two exchanges and thus the demand. However, don't forget that people are going to complete the mystery signings all throughout the day. This is the day where we claim our milestone 90 to 91. And while we might think that, okay, everyone has claimed them, so the cards are going to go up now, I really think these cards still have quite a lot of potential to go down, at least down to, a 2.5 million. Yes, there is a lot of demand sometimes coming through, but I feel like these cards need to go down a little bit for me to justify this. And while we talked about all these three right here for the 90s, I would definitely target just these three cards which are currently at their lowest though. And also maybe take a look at some of these CDIs, not too much because these are not confirmed just yet, but then again these might also prove to have an upside, with Bergkamp, Simmons and Nistelrooy having the most. Let's jump back into tracking this whole process using a dedicated sheet that I use. Yes, I am that person. I do this all the time with everything I kind of invested in the market. So we are going to start with what is essentially the team of the year 85. Let's say you bought it at 0.65. You spend a total of 182 million coins. Let's make this a little bit lower though. Let's make it a realistic number. Let's say you just spent 65 million and you are looking at a sell value of 1.2 million, which is the max, I would say. So for a 65 million spent, you get a total earned of 108 million with a profit of 43 million, which is great at this level. Now one thing I will say about these cards though, this is kind of meant if you have a total market value of below 100 million coins. So you can go in with something like 50 actual purchases, still make a sure shot profit of 21.5. So it's of course going to have less of an upside because you have a tax per card of 0.12. Let's move on to the next one though. These are the 95 team of the years. Now again, this is the riskiest one, but we are looking at buying some of these cards at 30 million. Say you bought 10 of them, 300 million. You sold these for a high of 50 million, which is extremely realistic because we have Ronaldo in it. We are looking at 300 spent, 450 earned with a total upside of 150 million, which is honestly at that level very big. But from what you can see, right, it's not that big to the point where I would go in right now. I would still wait until that exchange comes. And let's talk about the last one. This is the best one in my opinion, 90 plus mix. So again, with the Netherlands constraint, Bergkamp, Simmons, Nistelrooy, we are looking at a buying price of, let's give it 2.9, right? The current market value that we have. If you have a budget of around 100 million, you can buy as many as, let's say, 30 of them. So we are still looking at selling them at 6 million, or let's make it a bit more reasonable. Let's make it 5.5. We're still looking at spending 87 million, earning 61.5. So almost the 1:1 value of what you spend, you earn back as profit. And if we wait, these cards fall down to 2.7, you would see this value doesn't really go up by that much though, but still is the lowest risk involved. I would definitely take these cards, don't get me wrong, like I will take them at some point today, but just waiting a little bit might prove to be more useful. If these go up to 6 though, we are looking at a 1:1 return. 2.7 to 6 is essentially a 100% profit with these cards. Like if you buy around 300 cards, so you spend a total of 810 million, which is insane, you make back 1.6 billion coins. These are the three potentials that we are looking at now. I'll kind of let this one go, which means that you're looking at a total profit of almost 1 billion coins. If you have a total of, again, total spend is around 1 billion coins, so a 1:1 return with all these three cards involved. In summary though, yes, I showed you a very big Excel sheet. Let's just bring it back a little bit. Wait until that exchange comes through for the 96 to 97. Do not wait to buy these 90 rated cards until they fall to their lowest. So by afternoon today IST, or let's say a few more hours down the line, these are the cards that I am looking at for the 85 rated TOTYs. Only go in if you want to make a profit on a very lower budget, so less than 50 million. I would say diversifying between the 90s and the 95s makes the most sense once both of those exchanges are in. But do keep in mind that the Gullit exchange is also coming tomorrow, so on the 10th, which means these cards will start seeing their rise from tomorrow onwards. With that, however, we have reached the end for today. As always, thanks for watching. I will catch you in another one. Bye bye.